everybody, I'm Tika.
I'm Gregory.
And this is Getting to Know Marriage. This is the first episode of our second season. Thank you guys for joining us, for tuning in, for watching us. Today we're going to be talking about blended families. We talked about it before, and shout out to
Jenny.
Hey girl.
Know you watching.
She asked us to do a show while we were cooking, and also to kind of expound on our thoughts about blended families. So today we're going to talk a little bit about blended families and how blended families are just that, right? So,
Right. Well, here come the teacher. Now I'm messing with you. Blended families is something you have to take very seriously when it comes to children. I think one of the first things I want to mention is discipline, because you may not discipline your children the way you discipline your spouse's child. You know, you don't know the upbringing, you may not know what they've been through, you know, you just have to take it a day at a time. And also, you know, your personality plays a part in it also. You know, you can't treat two children the same way. You know, you gotta, it's gotta be a customization going on, you know, when we're talking about discipline. And just like anybody, you know what I'm saying, you can't treat everybody the same, you know what I'm saying, you gotta, it takes a while to get to know people. And like I said, but we talking about the kids, but it take a while, and me personally, it's a never-ending process because you always learn every single day.
right.
You learn about the child, you learn about yourself. You know, especially when it's always different when it's someone else's child, not your own. Because you know, you be quick to do something with your own children, but if it's somebody else's, you know, you kind of second guess.
Right.
So that's one thing I want to talk about is discipline.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times.
Hold on, boo. Tell people what we making. Jenny watching.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah, you better tell her what we making.
What we are making is cheesesteak nachos. So we're doing a quick dinner tonight because we were ripping and running and we forgot that we had some other stuff going on. So we're doing cheesesteak nachos. Nothing fancy, but this is just some little, you know, steak with meat, and it's going to do the job. It's one of our favorites. So back to this whole blended family situation. One of the things that I think is important for us to realize, and I think I came to this realization, you know, kind of after becoming a stepmom, because I came into the relationship and we've had this conversation, and even with my son, he was able to kind of share his thoughts on it. But I came into the relationship wanting so bad for Gregory's children not to feel like I was treating them any different from my own. So I think that's the natural thing that we do. You know, we jump in and it's like, okay, whatever I do for one, I got to do for all. Whatever I say to one, I got to say to everybody. And I think that's where people who have tension in their blended families, they have that, because when you jump in like that, then you also feel like you get other rights. Like you mentioned one thing, discipline. You know, and some people might feel like, okay, well, if I can buy this or go to the meeting and do this, I should be able to have my 2 cents in disciplining as well. And for us, the realization came because their mom had some, you know, she disagreed with some of the choices that I made. But immediately when she brought that to our attention, and I say our because we both talked to her individually about it, but when she brought that to our attention, rather than me jumping the gun and making it a negative thing, I had to think about it and say, you know what, at the end of the day, these are not my children. And I think in our minds, we feel like that's what you're supposed to think. These are my kids, these are my kids. It sounds good, but I had to think about it. These are not my children. These are his children and these are her children. So how they feel, what they think comes first. And it caused me to back up, like, okay, wait a minute. I have a responsibility to my children, and I'm going to say child because I only have one that's underage. But my child, I have a responsibility to him as his mother. Thank God, Gregory's children still have their mother. They don't don't need me to be their mother. They actually just need me to be their stepmom. It may not sound good, but I look at it like I'm pretty much the substitute teacher, right? So whenever mom is not around, or if they're with us and I need to jump in, that's what I'm here for. I'm stepmom. And people look at that step title like it's a negative thing. If we can just be who we are, I think the blended family would be better.
That's true. She's saying it so well, I'm just indulged into everything she is saying. I forget my train of thought, you know what I mean? So it take a second for it to come to me. I'm like, this woman here. Yeah. But blended family, it can be a beautiful thing. You know, it really can. Me coming up as a child was in a blended family too, so you know, growing up, I kind of know what to expect. You know, every situation is different, but it's not anything new that I'm not familiar with. So when I come into a situation like I am now, where I'm married and there's children, I think about myself when I was that age, because in actuality, Brandon is the same age as her youngest. He's the same age I was when I was introduced to my stepfather. So I just put myself in his shoes and I take it a day at a time. I feel him out, he feels me out, you know, and that draws us a little closer, you know, and then it'll happen again. He'll feel me out, I'll feel him out a little bit, and then we just get closer. Tell him about the other day when you said I was working late, remember? And you was bringing me a plate?
Oh, yeah. So he's working late, and I came home. Thank God the job is only like 2 minutes from here, not even. So I came home and I was trying to get him something to eat, you know, because he had been working really, really late. So I come in and I'm like, Brandon, here's your food. I said, I'll be right back. I'm getting ready to run Mr. Greg his plate. And he's like, oh, where's he at? You know, now he's to the point where he's concerned. Where's Mr. Greg? If he's not here, he want to know. So I said, he's at work. He said, oh, so I'm getting ready to leave out the door. He said, Mom, tell him I said. I said, I think that was one notch further. We just made another graduation level. But one thing that I love about Gregory, and he has helped me with this process, because I'm going to be honest, when you have a good man in your life, I have 3 boys. Not to take anything away from anybody, but when you have a good man in your life, as a woman, I'm like, okay, listen, pour everything you can. Hurry up, because we got to make it lost time, you know. But he kind of helped me keep balance, especially with Brandon in the beginning. I'm like, well, what do you think? And, you know, he has his children and he's involved. So I'm like, you know, what do you think? How do you feel? And his first response to me always would be, what would you always ask me?
Used to?
Yeah.
Ask his father first. What did his father say?
All the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm about to go call him. I'll be right back. But I mean, it taught me a lot, because at the end of the day, that is the right thing to do. You know, whether it's my children or his children, that is the right thing to do.
Hold that thought. But
yes.
That takes me back to me as a child. If something came up that was important to me, then the first thing I want to do is let my daddy know.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Before my stepfather.
That
you
makes
know,
sense.
because that's my dad. You know, so while I'm an adult now, like I said, I put myself in his shoes.
Right.
You know, you want to know my opinion? Well, hold on. What did your father say?
Right.
I feel like if he understands that I respect his father enough to say, what did your father say? Before I try to, you know, jump into it, I feel like he'll respect me even more. You know, and we respect each other.
Sure. And you know what the crazy part is? I think perspective is a lot, because hearing you explain that, because of your upbringing, because you were raised in a blended family, I was not. You know, so my perspective is man, woman, children equals family. the man is in charge. There's things he's supposed to do. The woman, there's things she's supposed to do. I never even stopped to look at the difference of a family versus a blended family, because all I knew was a family.
Well, when I was a kid, family to me was everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just mom and daddy, whoever in the house. It's everybody.
Sure.
That's what family was for me. And I don't know how old I was, but I realized there was a such thing as immediate family.
Right.
And that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
You know, the immediate family. Who is in the house.
And that's what I'm saying. I didn't even go as far as to think and say, wait, their real parents are in their house too. You know, so that's what's most important. So that's our thoughts on blended families being just that. Babe, you know what we're gonna talk about next week?
Next week,
Just ask. And I'll tell you.
Hold on. I'm good with it. I'm nice with it.
Okay.
Next week we're gonna talk about I know.
Just ask.
Oh yeah. Just ask. That's what we're talking about next.
Just ask. You don't have to insinuate. You don't have to have an emotional breakdown. Just ask. So join us next week right here on our YouTube channel, Getting to Know Marriage. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. It's all Getting to Know Marriage. Email us at gettingtoknowmarriage@gmail.com. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Have a good one.
See y'all next week.